Ever thought about business strategy like martial arts?
It's a great analogy, actually.
Yeah. Like you've got different ways to stand, different ways to use your power. The
Yeah,
goal is always to win, right?
exactly.
So today we're looking at two really interesting ones, Judo and Sumo. We're digging into an article from Cognitive Market Research.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea here is, forget wading through dense reports. We'll give you the core move, the essentials of these strategies.
That's right. It's a shortcut to seeing how these, well, seemingly opposite approaches, judo's agility versus sumo's power, can help businesses navigate competitive markets
We want to give you the essence of these ideas fast.
and how they actually play out.
Okay, so let's start with judo strategy. Picture like a smaller company stepping into the ring with giants.
Right. They're not going for a head-to-head strength test.
No way. So as this cognitive market research article points out, judo is really about making agility your main weapon.
Yeah, the key is avoiding that direct power struggle. It's like actual judo, isn't it? Using your competitor's own momentum, their own weight, against them.
Okay.
In business terms, that means being super flexible. It means spotting those specific, maybe underserved niches the big guys ignore.
Because they're too small for them.
Exactly. Maybe too small to bother with. Think of, I don't know, a small software firm that focuses only on, say, independent bookshops. The big players probably aren't laser focused there.
Right. Or like a nimble company sees a feature everyone wants, but the big guys are too slow to add it.
Mm-hmm.
And they just jump in and offer it before the behemoth even turns around.
Precisely. The goal isn't to attack their core business head on.
No.
It's carving out your own space, growing without, poking the bear too much.
So like a judo move uses the opponent's weight.
Oh.
This strategy uses the bigger company's inertia against them, their slowness.
That's a great way to put it. And the article stresses this needs constant vigilance. You have to be watching.
Watching for what?
What new customer needs are popping up? Where are the established players slow to react? What innovative thing can we launch fast?
Keep under the radar.
Yeah, stay under the radar, sidestep those big confrontations where you're likely just outgunned.
And it's not just about market positioning, is it? The article mentioned the company culture, too.
Oh, absolutely
To
critical.
really pull off a judo strategy, you need an internal culture that's all about innovation, quick thinking, ready to pivot.
You can't be a slow-moving tanker trying to dodge speedboats.
Yeah.
That flexibility, that speed, it has to be baked into how the company operates.
Right.
That's what really sets the judo strategy apart, that agility and the smarts to turn a rival's strengths, like their sheer size or established processes, into weaknesses you can exploit.
So it sounds perfect for startups, maybe smaller firms trying to break in with something new or serving a niche.
Often, yes.
But the article also flags some dangers, right? It's not a guaranteed win for the little guy.
No, definitely not. And this raises a really important point about spreading yourself too thin. Chasing too many shiny objects, too many opportunities at once, that can be a real trap for judo companies.
You stretch your resources.
Exactly. Limited resources get stretched, you lose focus, things become inefficient.
Makes sense. Try and be everywhere at once when you're small. And the other risk the article mentioned, if you do get too successful,
The giants might notice.
yeah, they finally see you as a threat and decide it's time to, swat you down.
Right. If the judo fighter starts landing too many throws, the sumo wrestler might just decide to use their overwhelming force.
And what does that look like in business?
Oh, it could be aggressive pricing to undercut you, quickly copying your innovation, or using their massive distribution network to just squeeze you out of the market. Negates your advantages.
Okay, so judo. Be quick, be smart, exploit openings, but careful not to overextend or wake the sleeping giant.
Good summary.
Now, let's flip to the other side, sumo strategy. The Cognitive Market Research article paints this as the territory of the giants, the established players. Their game plan is basically market domination through sheer force.
Right. It's a fundamental shift in thinking. Sumo isn't about finesse. It's about using the power you already possess.
To do what? Solidify your position.
Exactly. Solidify and maintain that dominant spot. The goal is clear. Strengthen your grip using your scale, your resources, your influence.
And the tactics sound pretty aggressive. The article talks about eliminating rivals,
Oh, yeah.
creating huge barriers to entry, acquisitions, even price wars.
It can be quite forceful. The aim is often to create a market where competitors either get bought up or just can't survive.
Wow. So how do they implement that? How do you do sumo?
Well, it centers on leveraging your existing strengths to get even more control. That might mean locking up essential resources,
Like supply chains.
supply chains, key technologies, distribution channels, yes,
Yeah.
or achieving such massive economies of scale that your costs are way lower.
Making it impossible for newcomers to compete on price.
Precisely. And then there are those aggressive tactics you mentioned, price wars, to bleed competitors, strategic mergers, buying out potential threats.
It's about flexing that market muscle. But the article also stressed they can't just sit back, right? They need ongoing investment.
That's crucial. You need constant investment in talent, in infrastructure, in staying ahead technologically. Even a sumo wrestler has to keep training, keep getting stronger.
Right.
What defines this strategy is that reliance on power, on strength, the ability to overwhelm rivals using market force. It's the classic playbook for large established companies trying to protect their turf and set the rules.
But just like judo had risks, sumo does too, doesn't it? Being huge doesn't mean you're invincible. The article mentioned becoming inflexible.
Yeah, that's a big one. Adaptability, or the lack of it. Companies deep into a sumo strategy can become so focused on defending their current position that they get rigid, resistant to change.
Making them vulnerable.
Very vulnerable,
Okay.
especially to those agile judo types or to completely new disruptive technologies they might be too slow to see coming or react to.
And just maintaining that dominance must cost a fortune. High operating costs.
Significant costs, yeah, which could hurt profitability if market conditions suddenly shift. And then there's the danger of just getting complacent.
Let's say you're used to being the biggest.
Exactly. You assume your power is enough, so maybe you miss subtle shifts in what customers want or overlook a nascent technology that suddenly takes off. Relying only on power can create serious blind spots.
Okay, so we have judo agility, smarts, exploiting openings, and sumo power, dominance, building walls. But the cognitive market research piece brought up something really interesting. They're not always separate.
Right, you can actually combine them.
A hybrid strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is where things get fascinating. It's about trying to get the best of both worlds, being both agile and powerful.
Which allows a business to handle a much wider range of challenges, I guess.
Precisely. You can adapt to changing conditions more effectively.
So how does that actually work? How do you mix oil and water, seemingly? The article suggested bringing judo elements into a larger company?
Yeah, like maintaining flexibility and innovation even when you're big.
Yeah.
Well, even a large organization can benefit hugely from nurturing some agility. Maybe setting up smaller, nimble teams focused on exploring new markets or rapid product development.
Outside the main bureaucracy.
Kind of, yeah. So they aren't bogged down. It's about keeping that ability to react fast, especially in dynamic markets or against disruptive startups. You can find and enter new spaces without necessarily starting an all-out war.
Okay, I see. And the other way around. A company that started out all judo-like might want to add some sumo muscle as it grows.
Absolutely. As you scale up, bringing in sumo elements lets you, well, solidify your wins.
How so?
You start leveraging economies of scale, maybe gain more control over key resources or distribution, build a powerful brand, maybe even start setting some industry standards yourself.
Yeah.
It gives you that stability and strength you need to defend your position long term, and maybe even acquire smaller players yourself. Think of a successful startup evolving.
So that hybrid approach sounds particularly good for companies that grew from scrappy startup to, a serious player.
Very much so.
They get to keep some of that original nimbleness, but also build the strength to protect what they've built.
It's about balancing agility with strength.
The real power move, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Fusing judo's adaptability with sumo strength.
You could say that. It allows businesses to tackle a wider variety of competitive situations. You have the quickness to seize opportunities and dodge threats.
And the power to defend your core business and influence the market.
Exactly. Striving for both those short-term gains and that long-term stability.
Okay, so just to quickly wrap the main ideas. Judo strategy speed, smarts, outmaneuvering, sumo strategy, sheer strength, dominating the space.
Right.
And the choice, as the Cognitive Market Research article highlights, really depends on the company's size, where it sits in the market, its long-term aims.
And that hybrid option offers a way to blend the strengths.
Yeah. Both pure strategies have their upsides and downsides, their risks and rewards.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Careful assessment of your own specific context is absolutely key.
Which brings us to a final thought. Something for you, the listener, to chew on. Thinking about the businesses, maybe even your own career, can you spot bits of judo or sumo strategy in play?
It's interesting to look for it.
Yeah. And what might be the long-term pros and cons of those approaches you see? It's fascinating how these ideas pop up all over, not just in boardrooms.
Thank you for taking this deep dive with us into judo and sumo business strategies.
Yeah, we hope drawing on that analysis from cognitive market research gave you a useful shortcut to understanding these powerful concepts.
We hope you'll think about the nuances we talked about, maybe see competitive dynamics through these lenses.
Join us next time for another deep dive. We're always looking for fascinating topics to equip you with knowledge quickly and thoroughly.